Okay, our photographs. We go out and take photos, we bring them back to the classroom. Now we need to make them as good as we possibly can. We'll do this same technique for all of the photos that we take when we want to edit them and make them presentable, right? So I thought I'd do one from your book here. This is a really cool photo from a football game. I've already downloaded it. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to Photoshop and I'm gonna open it. Okay, so again, in Photoshop, you can either open a file, okay, or you can create something new. When you create something new is when you're placing things on top of it. When I just need to edit a photo, I'm just going to go ahead and open it right now. So I'm going to go double click and open up that photograph, and it's going to bring it in here, and it looks nice. It is obviously too dark and needs to be worked on a little bit. So here's what I do always, always, always with my photographs. All right. I'm going to go up to the word filter. And actually, before I do that, let's do this. I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to duplicate this background copy so we can see the before and the after. Okay. So I pressed Command J and it duplicated the image. All right. So I'm going to go to filter and camera raw filter. So we do this every single time. All right. It opens up this kind of this sub program here for called camera raw. And there's only three things I need you to do. Three things. Okay. First thing is I always go over here under the basic kind of controls right here. I go to where it says the word edit and I put it on auto. And what auto is going to do is basically Photoshop's just going to look at the picture and try to figure out what's wrong with it and try to fix it. So let's see what happens when I click auto. Boom. Nice. It brightened it up a whole bunch. All right. It looks a lot better. And now I can look at that and I say, that looks a lot better because if I turn it off and on, significant difference, right? The other thing that I'm going to start to play around with now is I'm going to mess around with a little bit more with some of these exposure and contrast and highlights. And you don't have to know what all of them means. You just need to be able to use them when you have to. I like to turn the blacks down a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to do a little saturation, a little boost on that too. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So that was that's my first couple steps there. And my next one is going to be white balance. So right now, white balance is kind of the way the color looks, the way the color represents itself. Because sometimes the colors will be off. A lot of times when you guys, especially morning classes, early classes, your pictures will tend to look kind of blue if you go outside. If you shoot in the hallways here, they'll tend to look a little bit yellow. So what we can do here is go to white balance, and so instead of doing as shot, do auto. And pretty significant difference there between the two of them. So let's go back to as shot. This is how it came out of the camera. And then if you go to auto, so the photo was a little bit blue, right? And so when we brought up that and we turned that yellow up a little bit, that's in our temperature, that gave me that little brighter color. And I kind of like that. So I'm going to go and exposure that just a little bit more too and get that looking like that. That looks pretty good, right? I like that. So what did I do? I did auto there. I did the auto white balance, and then I kind of, you're welcome, excuse me, to put these sliders around and move those. And then I also did a little saturation boost. So that's kind of how I do it. I go edit auto right there. I'll go to white balance and I'll go to auto. And then if I don't like it, then I can slide these around and change them a little bit. But it gives me a good place to start. And then I'll go to saturation and turn that up. Those are kind of my three things. So I'll click on OK. And there's that photo. Now, what did I start with? That. What did I end up with? That. Great photo. Looks so much better now. And yeah, that's the whole thing. So I hope you got that.